Ain't gonna be no
Let me pause
intro.
my mic. Let me mute my
I'm
mic
not even playing no video.
for a second.
All right.
I'm gonna go off mic for a minute and I'll come back cleaner. Good
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ramblings of the Chaotic Mind. Tonight's little discussion, rant, and whatever it may be, by association. Kind of want to clear the air on a few things. I think it's a little bit long overdue, especially for those that don't know me. Plus, it'll give you, and it'll highlight exactly what KOTR is about and what it's always been about. I guess first off, I'm gonna actually join tonight with Chris. He's gotten to know me a little bit, and he can probably give you a better reading on me than for what he's got to know now. But first off, KOTR, Keepers of the Realms. For those that are familiar with it, are the realms or gatekeepers of the Eastern Garden, which is what the two sites merged and became Keepers of the Realms. KOTR for short. Now, many of you know, I've mentioned this before, we did a magazine. And with the magazine, I'm taking some of the lessons we learned from that and applying it to this type of format. The hardest thing about as anybody knows, is networking, is social networking, getting your product out there. This is a product. It's not being charged for or anything, but it's still a product. It's a product of information. And ways to do that, which is, and you can ask people like anybody that knows Sweet Dark Angel, Igor, Oeson, Ted, Tool Queen, Sonia, Traveler. We all ran websites together. We all admin on our sites. We all shared information. We had probably some of the safest sites you could go onto, not having to worry about spammers and hackers. And we had a simple rule. The rule was simple. Regardless what the site was about, we respected each other's beliefs. KOTR was a little bit different because we opened it up to everything. Everything that was a part of our individual lives and practices and ideas and views, we put it on the stage for everyone. Whether it be a cult, we drove more to the cult side, using conspiracy theories, news, we covered it, everything. A little bit of everything was in the realms. And we stuck to that format, even with the magazine. Magazine was well over, every issue was well over 200 pages long. Just covering the basic topics. We've also expanded to our friend sites like Persephone, the Pagan Underworld. There for a while, Temple Illuminatus, always on IT. When Layla ran it, then later as Chris ran it. We gave them sections in the magazine that those, share their featured members, share some of their content. Because for us, it's always been about supporting others of like-minded ideas and beliefs, but also bringing in others that have a different view perspective that we don't have, that we want to learn from, and still have places for people to go and get that information. That's what it's always been about. As I stated in the video I did earlier, now, yes, I don't have much when it comes to the Wiccan side of things, because I track more occultists and ritual practitioners than I do Wiccans. But we had a bunch of Wiccans. We were always asking for people to share, help. communicate, give them places to share their information. I no longer have the site up, but because I've been so focused on this, I'm starting to see some of the things cycle back around, because I'm doing this more on my own than anything, and not working with the social sites only for sharing the information, putting the videos out there, and trying to get more people to contribute. But yet, it seems that it comes back to, because I'm on certain sites or associated with certain people, comes a guilt by association. Well, for one, I don't do grammar. Don't like it, won't have a part of it. Anybody that's ever known how I ran my sites, I remove people quick. They're gonna sit there and bash others. The object is a place for you guys to come, enjoy, speak freely, and not have to worry about that. That's how I've always ran it. And for like the people I have just mentioned, that will tell you I'm also probably one of the best for weeding out spammers. I know as soon as they create a profile, as soon as I read their profile, I pick up their energies, and I'll know if they're going to be troublemakers or not. And they usually didn't last long. For me, it's never really about quantity, it's always about quality, which is hard when you start working in the social networking side of things. Because you want to be able to get your content out there, you want to get people to follow, help spread the word about what you're doing. Because for me, I can see the potentials of what KOTR can become now. Just not from my stuff, but from everybody else, people interacting, joining me on these streams, stuff. So yes, I've ventured out a little bit more than I normally do. Normally, it's not my thing. I've applied, some of the things Sweet always would harp on me about it. Well, you've got to let people in. You got to be more open and socialize. That's the only way to spread the word. And a lot of this, actually, guys, I learned a lot of what I'm doing now from. I know many people don't like her, but Leia, how she grew TI, Temple of Anonymous, when she owned it. That place went from 20 to almost 1,000 in a matter of 2 days. People, and by the end of the month, it was pushing 10,000 members. It was like, wow, how's she doing? Then people start off. She's admin on my site, or she's admin. She must be still. No, she wasn't. She was actually social networking. She was posting her ads where she was allowed, inviting people where she was allowed, and she was using Twitter and Facebook and a few other places to spread the word. So I've taken what that idea knowledge and I've applied it. But I see that some people think, well, because I'm a member of this group, that I've been removed from a few groups. And it's like, wow, I'm being judged and they don't even know anything about me. Cool. And I'm sure some people will flat out tell you, on certain individuals, I can't stand. But that's not the point. The point is, I'm trying to share information, share knowledge and wisdom. And the school of guilty by association crap is starting to get a bit old. Hasn't been a month, and I've been removed from 3 Facebook groups. Some of it's because of the content I'm bringing. They don't want this type of content out there. They don't want people speaking freely, teaching things. Others, it's just because they can't put aside the fact that we're all a whole community and that we shouldn't be divided. There's no difference between if you're a Wiccan, Druid, occultist, Kabbalist, member of the OTO, Church of Satan, Church of Sun, IoT. We're all one community. We practice the same damn magic. Practice. We use the same damn energies. We just choose to put titles and glorify certain titles when we should be focusing on the lessons we can be learning from each other, how we do things a little bit different, even though we're still weaving the magic, the same magic, how we're focusing the energy. As I've pointed out, spirit vision, drumming, same, two different techniques, same thing. Same energies being used, same vibrations, same frequencies, all to achieve the spirit vision or spirit walking. But yeah, because I'm bringing up those ideas, pointing these things out, people are taking offense. Cool, you can. And at the same time, you're depriving your members of information, of knowledge that they seek. Now, I started this, I knew I was going to catch flack on that side. I knew certain groups would probably remove me from the groups because of this. What I didn't take into consideration was when I start dealing with other sites, new sites, become joining them, that I would be playing the same game I was playing back when we ran websites. That, oh, you're associated with this person. You're on this person's site. Therefore, you can't be trusted. Well, that's the first, the greatest mistake you could ever do. I mean, if Rob was on here, or Sweet, or any of them that I have mentioned, the first thing they'll tell you, don't question my trust. I have a big issue with that. I'm not the trusting person to begin with. But when you confide something to me or something is said, I don't know, I repeat it to somebody else. Usually if I have an issue with something, I just leave. No sense bringing the drama into other places. I don't want to be a part of it anyway. But I just can't believe that we're still playing the same idiotic game. I mean, that's what it is. It's idiotic. You got to drama with somebody? So be it. I don't care. I'm not going to go back and tell them. You don't like what I'm saying? Scroll down. There's a post right under it. Somebody else's. I mean, Chris, I know you've seen it just from your own experience and dealings with out there.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, wow, I gotta make sure I don't bring any matches to this powder keg. In fact, I think I'm gonna pack a super soaker, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm not mentioning no names. I won't mention no names or groups or sites.
Well, in the spirit of full disclosure, I do represent the site Templo Illuminatus.
Right.
So I can speak in general terms, though, as far as drama.
Mm-hmm. Every site's got their drama.
Yeah, I've just noticed in different communities of different types. My own experience is mostly in the spiritual communities. But I've noticed people tend to bounce from site to site. Sometimes it's cool. And, it's because they're a decent person. Everybody else is okay. They tend to gravitate towards certain types of communities. But occasionally you get cases where I guess you could say it's not really anybody's fault. Nobody's wrong about anything at first. It's almost always a misconception of some sort. I've noticed that somehow, some way, somebody will get an idea that something is something different, or someone is associating with somebody. They may not, but they start to make assumptions about the nature of the association. And I've seen that take so many directions, it's not even funny. For me, though, I've had a few things hit me personally. I've actually managed to get wrapped up in a few things, and I'm rather disappointed in myself for that. But from what I've seen in others, how do I put this? Once the misconceptions get out there, now all of a sudden people are on the defensive, and you get like just a downhill. It's a downhill. Everybody's fighting a downhill battle. Nobody wins. It's something I've always tried to bring is different. For me, it's the systems, the high level view, the big picture view. It makes no sense to me. There's so much knowledge out there. There's so much room even for ego boosting for people that like to do that. I'm not even bashing ego. For people that like to toot their own horn, more power to them. There are so many opportunities to do that. I don't understand why people have to step on each other's toes the way they do. Knock each other out of the way. And there's even arenas to do that too. And that's one thing a point I've tried to make in a few places. I've won a few and lost a few. But when you have an arena where people can just come in, and it's not like you can't allow people to bully people outright, but you can let people know once you enter this door, if somebody wants to put on the gloves and go toe to toe, you're expected to take them up on that challenge. There's danger here. Here be dragons. Beware or don't enter. And I think those are important. So when you try to lock things down too tight, you get a well-oiled machine. But I've noticed you kind of lose, for the more natural type of pagans, you lose the primal part. You lose the forest. You can't get out there and be an animal if you want. For others, how would I put that one? It tends to water things down. You even end up with, you lose your place where you get some people, they're fucking intellectual juggernauts. It's well earned, and they may not bring insults or anything like that. They may not even try to psychologically damage a person. But you better be on your toes. You can't say any bullshit around these people. And those people can be some of the most offensive as well. But I think it's important to keep a balance and to allow a bit of that. Unless you want a well-oiled machine. And I think a lot of places that started off kind of rough around the edges, more, they had their jungle. Mm-hmm. When they tightened that up, they chopped all the bushes down, but then they tend to lose a lot of their original, they lose what made them unique. Especially when you get people playing their power plays. They want to control this, they want to control that. That's fine if they want to control it because they're good at that sort of a thing. And they recognize, okay, I handle groups really well. I handle one-on-one with people really well. I handle people in a chat really well. I handle people via email or messages well. I can deal with forums. Everybody's got their thing that they're good at, their hidden genius. But not everybody can do everything. And you get people, they don't want to control it because they're good at it. They want to control it because a friend ran it before them, or they get appointed. Bye-bye. Or they just have some emotional connection to it. But they're not upfront with that. And that's the big problem I've noticed. In places where it's expected, most of these sites that you're describing, and that I'm aware of myself, they tend to pride themselves on here you can express yourself, but then you express yourself, and it's only within a certain paradigm that you're allowed to do that. And that's fine. Like some places I have no issue with. They have clear-cut rules. They say in these ways, be as wild as you want to be. In these ways, keep it to yourself. Some places, you can say anything you want. Keep your virtual hands to yourself. Some places are different. But I think a lot of places don't stay true to what they are.
Right.
And things change. And I've noticed it's those change. It's that those tend to be the things that catalyze the kind of outcomes you're talking about. Now, on more personal levels, I don't know. I can't give any examples without. I'm just not in a position where I can give any examples there. I don't think that would be appropriate for me.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to give no names out, never do. But I will speak on some of my own personal experiences.
Yeah, do as you will.
For running
Yeah.
QTR. You know, and Wayne, I will mention this group because they've been a pain in everyone that I've mentioned S's, and we've worked to remove them from our sites. Well, I won't name the actual people's names, but I'll name the association, since we are talking about associations, the Witches Council. And I'm sure some people, as soon as I mention that name, you know exactly what I'm talking about, who I'm talking about. They plagued our communities, they brought drama, and to the point where, I mean, there for a while in KOTR, I was already aware of the person's name, so I wouldn't let him on the site. Well, I started drama because somebody let somebody else on the site when I was away for a bit, for about a month. And sure enough, it happened. Here's what I personally, and I was telling everybody, and remove them, don't say a word, don't get goaded into anything, let it go. But it went from our site to Facebook. Things got posted, said. Basically, it was an attack on one of our, on someone.
Yeah, that happens.
And it's like, you know, then we start seeing, you know, some of these people we thought we're associated with, we're our friends. We started seeing them in the true light. Their true color starts coming out. And in fact, you guys can probably go find some articles in the magazine about this whole situation. Because it was written even in that. Because we were putting it out there to protect our communities. These are the type of people we don't want in our communities. Because that's all they do. And as we later found out, more information came about, come to find out, two of these people in particular were world-renowned hackers that would get into your site, stealing people's information, and sell it. Which was a new threat that we haven't seen, but it got pretty vicious, and I watched it hurt our sites. It ended up hurting other people's sites.
Here's a tip. Here's a tip for that. I haven't seen it put into widespread use, and I think it should be. The standard rules of digital security should apply even for a social site where it's expected. You know, right. A lot of admins, and I'm okay with this, but a lot of admins get made admins because they know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there should be a vetting process you put people through.
Should be a resume.
Sort of, yeah. Put them to task to do some things. I'll throw them in a chat. Just throw them in as a chat moderator. See what they do. Of course, if they're sincere about their job, you're going to notice their presence. They're gonna if you've got an active chat, you're gonna notice that you know they have to put things in check. You look right. And see, did they do that within unacceptable range? If they're a little too one way or the other, that's okay. If they're way too far authoritarian or too lenient, then you might want to, you know, consider dropping them as a moderator.
Right.
But voting, having at least a certain number of admins vote on like group approvals, new members.
Right.
Set aside a specific area to discuss and actually give a few days of discussion for problem members. Look and see if they're really as big a problem as they look like. What can we as admins do through our behavior to minimize the problem? And then let the emotions hit. It can get really emotional. Like I said, I've gotten wrapped up in it. I've voluntarily stepped away for a while, just a couple of times, just because I let something personal cross from my personal life into a website. So I think there's an equal responsibility on everybody's part. And as far as talking about it, yes, that's actually one of the things I've been criticized for most. And it's difficult for me to go ahead and I'm obeying that for now. I'm going to honor that. I made an agreement with the site that I administer.
Right.
But
that's the thing. What's said in the administration groups isn't to leave those groups anyway. It's kind of like the way I view things. What's said in the, and there's like being in a ritual circle. What's done in a ritual circle stays in a ritual circle between those people. It doesn't go outside.
Yeah. Well, I noticed, and my experimentation was in chat, and I noticed I got consistently good results with it. And it took a team of people to develop the procedure. It's partly something that could be put in a tutorial, but part of it does, specifically you do look for people that have either good intuition or they're good at recognizing typing styles, that sort of thing. So some sites, they wouldn't work with spiritual people, and they may not like the idea of depending on basically psychic powers to accomplish something. But some people are just good at picking up on styles. They can match up IP addresses, that sort of thing, as far as administrators. To keep filters up and decide and have everyone agree. Are we going to be a site that kind of allows a bit of a controlled free-for-all, or are we going to be really buttoned down, or something in between? I think it's important that everybody be on the same sheet of music there.
Right.
But anyway, as far as it's very difficult to judge what situations should be taken public and what shouldn't. But I've noticed certain things, if they've already affected a lot of people, actually getting people to the point of even to a degree pushing and kind of forcing the issue if you can. I have noticed some good results from not airing dirty laundry, but putting things out publicly, or at least like I did on chats a few times. And I've seen other people do it spontaneously. If you've got a couple of mature people present, especially if you've got, let's say, an administrator, a moderator, and a couple of mature people in an active chat all at once, you decide, somebody says, hey, look, let's get this out in the open. It's already affected a lot of people on the site. Let's get it out there. And for a time being, if we have rules about cursing or insults, we're going to relax those for a while. We're still going to give the moderators and administrators the power to put a hard limit on that. In other words, if it doesn't look like there's progress going on, you're likely to just get canned for a couple of hours. You know, get suspended from the chat for 4 hours.
Right.
Here, go cool off for a bit. Come back when you're a little more mature. I have found that can work, but you have to have administrators, moderators willing to put in the work and capable of doing it. They have to have a little bit of psychological smarts about them, whether they get it naturally or through study. But if you've got that in place and they take their job seriously about resolving conflict genuinely, I've noticed that can really go a long way. That's where I would say that, like, it seems like you're doing right now, putting something out there in the public. Personally, if I were to do this, I would probably prefer to see more than just a person or two watching.
Right.
Maybe even go and specifically invite them, but you may not have that option.
No, I don't have that option right now.
I mean, I've done that before. I've been an asshole about it. Almost got myself banned before, too. I've stepped out of line, too. Many times, actually. It's easy to do. So I can bring a little bit of knowledge from the trenches. A lot of what works is not what I've done. It's because I've figured out, well, I fucked that all up. I need to do what I was told to do. You know, this person over here, they're the one that had the experience. They were telling me all along I need to be doing it this way. Well, no, I decided to learn the hard way. Hurt people in the process, too. Just got to own the shit, own up with it, own up to it, move on.
You know, it's just like you've seen me. I've sat here done how I did the reviews for here on on YouTube for Tila Swan and Adder. Adder. I can't remember the last part of the
Yeah.
thing. Those many people don't really know me. A lot of people that's coming across me, they're new. They're not, you know, sweet Dark Angel, Red. I'm not Red. Tool Queen, Igor, Oeaster, Ted, Traveler, Sonia, and the various few other places. Persephone. I was never an admin of Persephone's site anyway. And I very seldom posted in there because it was a group that I realized, because I did have a group there that I had realized, well, there's just too much conflict. People join groups that shouldn't join the groups. I mean, I even had a warning in the group. You know, this is more for the occultist, ritualist, ritual practitioner. This is the thing goes back to that stupid division I keep talking about. How people want to, oh, you're practicing this, and therefore you're evil. This will belong here. But yeah, I've got people that are learning stuff there. They want that knowledge there, and you claim to be an open group, an open site, catering to all practices and beliefs. That's when I start becoming to have issues. But I don't blame this. Never blame the site. I just backed off. I still ran Pagan Underworld's articles and magazine. Remember our magazine? We shared it with them. We even named it the magazine, appropriate to combine the two. They're the ones that were helping support us more than any other group. So we gave them. I don't know. I watched that site go. That site grew from the magazine better than our site did because me sweet, we're not that good on the marketing aspect, advertising aspect. I'm not a social person. Most people know me when I'm on websites. I'm the guy behind the scenes doing things. I'm the one that's moderating members, creating groups, doing the other work. I'm usually the quiet one inside this sites. And for most people, you just ran keep KOT. I've never had no more than 500 members. Well, I've also helped run other sites that had 20,000 plus members and admin. So I know the game, which is why I kind of wanted to get away from the game, and why I'm doing this type of format. But it's still with this type of format, I have to rely on other websites, social sites, creating groups, putting my videos out there. as I'm starting to see now, because I'm doing that, because I'm using these associations as tools to put my work out there, I'm catching the backlash for it. I'm catching, well, because you're there, you must be real good friends with that person. I mean, yeah, granted, you don't know me. If you did know me, you probably wouldn't have even mentioned that person's name because I can't stand the person.
I was like, what the hell? What the
You
hell does it
never-
matter if you're friends with that person or not?
Yeah, right.
I don't know. I think what a person does matters more than who they know. It does matter who they know.
Right.
It tells you something, that's for sure.
That's right. I don't judge a person because who they're friends with.
And I've known some of the greatest people that they had friends. I've got a few friends like that myself. You wonder, how in the hell does a person like that get friends like that?
Right.
And there's just something about them, whatever. That's my choice.
You know, they see something different than I see.
A lot of times with that friend, you have to have boundaries, and it only goes so far. Now, if you've got a person run into another person and starting drama, well, that's
Not a friend.
right. That's not so much about whether they know that person. I mean, it's important to know that if you want to know what's going on, but that's a matter if you got somebody talking shit about people, plain and simple.
Right.
So I guess I'd come on a simpler rule of talking shit. If you're gonna talk shit, oh, you got to know what you're doing. Some people like that sort of thing. I'm not gonna judge them for that, but
No, to each their own on that point.
hey, I talk shit. I talk shit too. What am I gonna say? I talk shit all the time.
You know how I view people is different than how others do. Yeah, I judge a person by what I read off it, and I'm one of the probably person that judges you right then and there, and my opinion is made. There's a few cases where I've been proven wrong, but very few, because I'm usually that good at reading a person and reading people, and I don't let them in. Period. I mean, I treat friends like I treat my occult practice. You have no business or no reason to be in my personal universe. Because if I associate with you, in a sense, this is the drawback to guilt by association. As I've stated, spirits and other entities do not differentiate between association. They think, oh, because you're talking to them or speaking to them, they're for you. You're associated. You're not associated with them. They're your friends. Well, no, I'm not. They're a tool. They got something that I need at that point in time. I mean, I hate putting it out there like that, but in a sense, it's how things are. Everything's a tool. Even some of my closest friends are tools. Whether it's just for me to go to talk to, have a few beers, drink, laugh, enjoy that day. Since I'm using them just as much as they're using me. And for some people, those like that's a twisted way you go about it. Well, yeah, it kind of is. If you want to think about it. But I also have reasons to associate those things. I know when I.
Well, different people are going to take that statement different ways.
Oh yeah.
There's somebody with a higher perspective, a big picture perspective. They might be able to piece that together and figure out. It doesn't mean you're uncaring. I could see why some people might get that though.
No, because I mean, one,
Yeah, I
gotta understand. I guess I do need to clarify that. One, you have to understand how I label friends.
Well, almost
if I
everything.
call you a friend, I call you family. To me, my friends are my family.
Almost
I'm
anything
only letting what in. Go ahead.
Almost anything a person does is out of rational self-interest anyway. There's more. I don't believe that's all there is. There's something deeper, but most of what we do out in the world We talk to a person because there's something in it for us, one way or the other. That's why they talk to us. That's why we talk to them. Occasionally, there's more to it.
Oh, right. Because I mean, there's times I've
I
walked
get
by a
that you're not.
stranger that I've just felt the need to stop. That's the other thing, guys. You need to realize about me. I follow my inner voice. I follow where I'm drawn more than I do anything else because that's following my true will. So when I might just stop by a stranger, just standing there, just pick up a conversation from him. I don't know him from Adam, but yet for some odd reason I was drawn.
Well, that must make this an appropriate time for meditation or to continue meditation. We'll wait and see if Drew comes back in a minute. If not, I guess that's a good night. Yeah, we'll give Drew another minute or two. See if he comes back in. I think he had a connection problem. I notice the stream is still going. All right, we'll call it a good night then. Good night, everybody, whoever's watching this. And nope, he's not going to show up. So I guess that's what you get when you play with these energies. Good night, folks.